All right, guys, welcome back to video number 3 of the house series here on Supercharged Homes. Today we're doing something kind of fun. We're doing an accent wall, or should I say accent walls, because there's going to be 2 of them. This is going to be board and batten 1x4s, but we're going to do a grid style pattern. So we'll go all the way to the ceiling. I'll walk you through all the prep work you got to do, some tips how to do this, tools you're going to need, proper ways to finish it, and the paint I'm going to use. So honestly, it's not that bad of a project if you have everything to do it. And this is like a 2-day project. I'll start it tonight, finish it tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll walk you through it, do some little time lapses in between and show you exactly what I'm doing. Now, the easiest way to do this, or any board and batten or trims, is with a brad nail gun. You can do this with detailed nails and an old-fashioned hammer. It's just more you got to fill at the end. Hell, you can even use thin detail screws or decking screws if you want it. It's just more work on the tail end. Where with the brad gun, it's just almost, there's no cleanup at the end, if that makes sense. It's much quicker. Yeah, the first thing we're going to do is find the studs, and then we'll go from there. All right, so here's the walls in question. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is find all the wall studs. Now, I know in the corner there's about 4 inches of studs on both sides, so I don't really got to do that. Why I'm finding all the studs in between, because I'm going to start with my horizontal battens, and that way I can just put brad nails right in there, no big deal, with very little adhesive, if any. And secondly, I do have to remove this trim piece because I do have to put a shim behind it. This is about 1/8 of an inch too thin, and I want my battens to be flush, or if anything, I want this to come out a little more. So to do that, I need a little trim tool. I gotta cut the caulk, find the stud, put it behind it, and then this can come right out really easily. So that's the reason why we gotta find the studs first. This is much easier to do in a newer home, if even older home with lath and plaster. It can be tricky, but doable. And also I'm spacing this to where none of my outlets, my HVAC will be in the way. I think I'm going to do 2 battens vertical and 2 horizontal and make the middle a little wider. I've seen pictures of that and I like it a lot. And it'll be the same on both sides. There will be 1x4 casing all the way around first on both sides, and then the battens in the middle, just like that. And then it's a matter of taking some Bondo. Yes, I use Bondo on all the seams. Really easy to sand, and it's very flush and flat. All right, all of our studs are marked. I'm not gonna use tape, actually just stick the pencil all the way up and down. And trust me, it'll make sense and make your life so much easier. And again, we know that this is all studs right there on both sides. And you can tell by hitting it, that's stud. But now we have 16 on center, which will make our life much easier when the battens start going up, just, and you're all done. So the next thing I gotta do is score the trim right here, all the way around, and hopefully pop this all off in one piece. And again, using where all the studs are, that way you don't put a hole through your drywall, and that'll come out. And again, I'm putting probably an 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch shim behind this. Put some brads back in this guy. Seal with some caulk at the end. The top, for whatever reason, is much thicker, so I think we're gonna be okay. Let me get the bottom scored and the baseboards taken off. I'll be doing the battens tomorrow, so obviously that's gonna come off. That's just there for right now. I got kids and it's glass. I don't want them playing with it. All right, real quick, why I'm taking this trim off and shimming it, because you see here how it's not flush. I want this to be flush, or if anything, the bottom further out a little bit. So we're gonna add a almost 1/4 inch piece behind that and reattach this guy. It'll make sense here in a second. All right, cool. Actually, it was pretty easy to call about 1 minute. Now I gotta clip all these little brad nails, and then we will put the shims in place, put the baseboard back up, and then we can start framing out the battens all the way around. right, perimeter's all trimmed up. Wife's making dinner. She's really happy. Okay, Jack's happy. Autumn's cranky.
No, I'm not, Dad.
That's perfect timing. Okay, so it's not perfect. I got 1x4x8s. My mental math was a little off, so a couple spots I had to pull a filler, but we're gonna use so much Bondo, it won't even matter. Well, boxes there is all good to go. Now I'm gonna be doing 9 squares per side, so that's 2 grid lines on both sides, and people always get hung up on trying to do the math on this. It's simple. However many lines you want to do or grids, you just add one more. So you're gonna take this space right here, divide by 3, and that's your spacing. That's all you got to do. And then on center is where I'm going to add them horizontally. That's it. That's all I got to do. It's pretty simple. Even my wife knew that. All right, horizontal lines are done, nice level and secure. My only oopsie is right there, 1/8 of an inch. I'll fix that though. So now we're just gonna measure, we're gonna go this way 3, or 2 rather. So we're gonna measure 3 across and divide that by 3, and that'll give us our center lines going all the way up. Now, when you do this in your house, all these are gonna be different. Be creative, so you don't have to do extra work. Maybe make them a little wider, so you're not gonna hit an outlet or something like that. Mine just happened to work out where nothing was in the way, which is great. But anyways, yeah, so let me get these on center and start cutting these guys. And I'm doing the horizontals first because I know those can bite a stud where the verticals might not. So they might have to rest on the bottom with a little bit of adhesive behind it. We'll see how it plays out. All right, this side's squared away as far as crudely got the battens up. So obviously on the middle ones here, I couldn't bite a stud. That's where they're marked. So what I did, I put a little bit of adhesive on the back, just nothing crazy, just a little bit. And then I just towed them into the middle guy right there. Towed just mean at an angle, and they're on there pretty good. So yeah, I have enough wood to do just this part tonight, and we'll carry on tomorrow with this. And then all the insides right here, we'll do a nice bead of caulk, but really clean it up. This is the worst gap I have, but I can live with it. And then after that, where all the wood meets, right here in all the little holes, just a little bit of Bondo. We're gonna sand, and then throw our paint on there. Sound good? All right, stopping point for tonight. Yeah, I miscalculated when I got some lumber today. I need 2 more to finish this. But tonight, I'll just, all the, where the paint meets the wall meets the boards, I'll do some caulking. It's pretty boring. And then tomorrow, we'll get those done. We'll do a time lapse of the Bondo and then paint. And that should be about it. Now, one thing I don't know what I'm gonna do is right there. See this little gap? I think I'm just gonna take a little triangle of the pine, put it right there, and I'll paint that white. We'll see. Yeah, I think it's gonna look really good. Really easy project, just take your time. So cool. All right, guys, see you in the morning. All right, next day, all the battens are up crudely. The next step I'm gonna do, where all the wood meets wood, I'm gonna take 150 sandpaper as my sanding, with my little sanding guy right there, and hit all those pretty good. And then we're gonna do some wood filler. It's like a Bondo on all the joints. And I'll do a fun little time lapse doing this. And then I got some kills. It's a primer on all the wood for all the knots and stuff, just in case it's pine. I don't want it to come to the wood later on and it'll block that. That's the idea. And then we'll put some paint on it and we'll be all set. All right, a little closer look here. So all the inside edges I just caulked. You can see all the way around. All the bigger gaps, like right here, I'm gonna be using this stuff right here, plastic wood, to adhere, give it a couple hours to dry. We'll do one more sand, then we'll do a coat of kills on all the wood. And then, yeah, we're ready for paint, guys. All right, all the joints have been filled with my filler. It should look pretty crude right now, but it'll pay off, trust me. And I found the best way to do this is with a metal spatula, whatever you wanna call it, and just really put it in there, really press down. It's kind of crumbly, but it works. So let this sit for a few hours, we'll sand it, kills it. Oh, one more little pro tip. If you're using pine, you're gonna have little knots, right? and some of them have some little imperfections in them. So I took some caulk and a little tiny spatula and went over it's nice and smooth. You can't really tell, but all the knots I went over with some caulk and a putty knife to make them all nice and smooth. We're still an hour away from sanding all of the intersections, and then we're gonna move on to the kills. And again, the reason why I'm doing the kills is because pine has a tendency to, especially the knots, to kind of leak through the paint. So yeah, that should mitigate or get rid of all that entirely. Looking pretty good. All right, it's been about 4 hours. I just watched my Redskins lose terribly in the NFC division game, but that's what I expected. So all we're gonna do now is just take 150 grit, just like this. I actually find it easier by hand because this stuff sands really easily. And yeah, just every little spot, we're gonna sand it. And then we're gonna prime. Cool. All right, at this point, you should have a fun little mess on the ground. Your pants should be covered in dust, but looking good. It's exactly what we want. See how it looks all smooth? You can't really tell any intersections. There's a couple little imperfections, like right here. I'm gonna take my caulk gun and fill that in. Get all this vacuumed up, fill in little imperfections with my caulk gun, and then we are ready to start priming this guy. It's looking really good. Really exciting project. And then yeah, the fun part will be painting it after that. All right, we are primed and ready for tomorrow. All your joints at this point should look pretty smooth and ready to go. Don't get caught in the weeds. This isn't a car, it's a wall, but it should be pretty smooth. So I like the idea that I got all of the wood planks primed, so no issue with adhesion, and all of the different textures will blend between the filler, the wood, and the caulk, so it's all uniform now. And of course the walls are already primed because they were sprayed when we bought the house. So yeah, tomorrow just take it off the little plates and we'll just be painting this guy. We're stuck between two colors right now. The sea hazel and the pediment. I think we're gonna do this. It's like a, what do they call it? A grayish, like a gray beige. So, and when we do that in a satin, you want something a little bit of shine to it. It's better with cleanup and kids. So it'll make the trim pop a lot more too, because the color of the walls now, it's almost like an off-white. So, all right, so you guys will see that here in about 2 seconds. All right, guys, next day we are ready to rock and roll. Only prep I did was take all the switch plate covers off. You should always do that if you're gonna paint. My thermostat I left on. I don't want to fart with it, but I can edge that really well. And yeah, in case you're curious, the color we're using is Pedimont right there. I got there set Taylor's Do It Yourself right up the street. I'm just nothing crazy, just using a roller with a wool and a foam and my edge cutting brush right there. And yeah, I'll do all the edges first and all the insides, and then we're just gonna roll the rest. Easy as that. guys, there you go. So that's one coat. I'll let this dry about an hour. I'm gonna do one more healthy coat, really get that satin sheen to come through. I'll do like a final reveal in the morning when there's some sunlight, but I'm loving the color. Hope it's coming out okay on camera. Not too bad for my first attempt at doing a grid wall. I'm pretty happy with it. So cool guys, I'll see you guys in the morning for a final reveal. All right guys, next day, I'm just waking up like doo-doo, but I think it turned out amazing for amateur work. It was my first attempt at a grid style wall like this. I've done a grid wall, but it's hard to explain, but different. In any case, I'm very happy with it. Let me turn you around. And there you go. Let me show you up close here. I love the color. It's not perfect, but you can see a couple little imperfections, but I can live with that, you know? A couple little areas I still gotta fix as far as paint, but 99% of the way done. I think this project cost me, geez, $250 with the wood and the paint. The paint was the most expensive. I got the most premium paint you could buy, it's like $50 at Taylor's Do-It-Yourself. But yeah, it looks good. I love it. And then a little glass painting back up right there. That's gonna go right there. We have like a little high white weather looking credenza right there with some really cool two pieces of artwork gonna go right there. Black framed, it'll look really good. And then this is going away soon. This doesn't match anything, this color wood. Actually, the tabletop we got, it's very similar to this color. And with a nice little rug, it'll look really nice. Got some stools, those arrived yesterday, because this house cleaned up, it's a mess right now, holy cow. But yeah, not too bad, guys. I also wanted to clarify something. When I was telling you guys how to measure for spacing, I think I showed you guys from the inside to the inside, but you want to measure from center line to center line. Does that make sense? So from here to this center line right there. Then divide by 3 and put them on center. Otherwise, they'll be off an inch or two. Especially the middle one will be off a little bit. Yeah, that'll work, guys. Pretty cool. Awesome. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Happy with it. Cool. And I'll see you next weekend for another video. Take care. Mark out.